We just looked at how to graph a parabola when it's already in the form of the parenthesis squared. Many things in mathematics involve being able to go backwards and forwards between the two forms, between seeing something like 24 as being 4 times 6, or just seeing 24 as a product. By the same token, knowing that we can reverse things that are multiplied is the fundamental strategy we use on solving second-degree equations where set them equal to 0 and factor them. So being able to reverse a process is incredibly important. What we want to do is to practice squaring parentheses to their expanded form quickly so that we can reverse the process and take it from its expanded form back into the squared form for the purpose of graphing. It's also an important solution technique for certain types of equations. So there's a common technique. It's called the binomial square theorem, and it's easy to demonstrate why the theorem works. And you can see right here that if you just simply take a binomial that's going to be squared and you multiply maybe whatever your favorite style is, you could even build a box for it if you wanted to. And what you would see, regardless of how you did it, whether you did a FOIL or whatever, you'd see that the final result always ends up being 3 terms, and the first term is the square of the first term that was in our binomial. So the first term of the answer over here is the first term that was in the binomial that was squared. Some people say square the first instead of first term squared. Then the second term of the answer of the trinomial is the product of the two things inside the binomial, a times b, that has been doubled. Some people say twice the product. You can also say it's multiply and double. So this is an abbreviated shortcut, but it helps you keep the process straight. Finally, you look at the last term in that trinomial, and it is the second term of the original binomial square that has been squared. So that would be second term squared, or we could say square the second. So whichever way we like to say it, we'll first of all learn one of these techniques, either to say it the first way or the second way, and then as you say it, you do it. So the most important thing that you need to learn is that as you look at this, that the first term of the binomial is the 2x. And the second term of this binomial, not just 3y, but negative 3y. And again, all of that depends on us understanding that every subtraction is like the addition of an opposite. That's why the negative is always attached to that second number. So I'm going to say first term squared, so I just look at 2x, and I take 2x times 2x, that's the 4x squared. Then I say twice the product. So I take a 2x times a minus 3y, that's negative 6xy, and I double the answer. So that's where the minus 12xy comes from. And then I say second term squared, so I take negative 3y times negative 3y, and I get 9y squared. In this next example, the first term is the 4x, and the second term is the 1. So when I say square the first, I'm going to do 4x times 4x to get 16x squared. Multiply and double, 4x times 1 is 4x, double that answer, 8x. Square the second, square the 1, 1 times 1 is 1. So same with the next couple, just whatever you say you do, and it enables us to go strictly from the original binomial square to its expanded form just at a glance and at a quick writing. Now, I might show you real quickly here that had we done the box on this one, or on any of them for that matter, that it won't change the answer, but what it does change is how long it takes you to do it. Moreover, we're trying to learn to recognize that certain types of expressions are the result of squaring, and we need to recognize them so that we can reverse it and put it back in its squared form. In a sense, it's a factoring, but more than a factoring, it's It is an incredibly important step of reversal. Back to the box. That'd give me an x squared and a 5x on the first row. That'd give me a 5x and a 25 on the second row. And this part right here is that part where we say twice the product. We took the x times the 5, but it happened in two separate places, so we just double the answer. So it wouldn't really matter whether you did it by any particular method, but I just would encourage you as you stay in mathematics, squaring binomials and recognizing how to see something that's the result of a squaring so you can reverse it will become critical to so many skills. So by learning the forward process, it makes the reversing process better. That's why I'm giving you weekly quizzes on just doing FOIL multiplication and factoring so that you become automatic at it. So in UIL number sense, one of the most common skills is to be able to square a 16. So for instance, just to recognize that 16 squared is 256. If you haven't got it memorized, then here's how you do it. 16 by its place value is a 10 and a 6. So I just say first term squared, I square the 10 to get 100, and I keep that number in my head a second. Twice the product, 10 times 6 is 60, double that answer, 120. At this point here, if you're doing it in number sense, or if you're just going to practice doing this because you like crunching numbers, keep the running total. Your running total is now up to 220. And then second term squared, square this 6 that's in the parenthesis, 36, so that when you put that together, 220 plus 30 is 250, 256. You can look at the example with the 23 squared, so it'd be 400 plus a 120, 520, plus another 9, 529. So here's a couple that you can go through and practice if you want to. So if I were doing it by the little worded phrase, I'd look at the x and square it. I take the x times the 12, 12x, and double it. That's 24x, and it's positive. And then I take the 12 times the 12 and get a 144. And again, it would be positive. So we could use any type of multiplication here. I think I'll use FOIL, x plus 12 times x plus 12. And first times first is that x times x. The outside pair would be the x times the 12, 12x, and it's positive. The inside pair would be this 12 times this x, and again it's positive, 12x. And then the last times the last would be the 12 here times the 12 here. That would be a 144. And if you put it all together, it's the same answer, x squared plus 24x plus 144. Just a quick look at this one, and I'll leave it to you if you want to see by whatever method that the x minus 12 times x minus 12 gives the same result. But just to note, when this is a subtraction in our original binomial, first term squared is x squared, x times x. The multiply and double would be negative 12 times x is negative 12x, doubled is negative 24x. And then when we multiply the negative 12 times the negative 12, the negative times the negative is a positive 144. So notice the previous problem that the third term of the result is always going to be a plus. The middle term may or may not be a plus, and the middle term always follows the direction of the original sign. So if the original sign was a plus, the middle term is a plus, but if the original term was a minus, the middle term is a minus, but that third term is always a positive. So if I were doing 24 squared, I would say 20 times 20. 20 times 4 is 80, doubled is 160, 4 times 4 is 16. I would have had the running total right here as being 560, so that when I got that last 16, I'd go 576. So if you're interested in learning how to square numbers and remember them, well, you just practice that every day, and pretty soon you'll have them memorized. So 25 is a 20 and a 5. Square the first, that's a 400. Multiply and double. 20 times 5 is 100. Double it is 200. My running total is now 600. Square the second is 25, so 625. Now, Most of the binomials that you will see in all of mathematics will be a single x, not 2x or 3x, and then some number. But it works regardless of what the contents of that binomial might be. So in this case, square the first, that'd be 25x squared. Multiply and double, that'd be 5x times a y is 5xy. Double it is 10xy, and it would be positive. And then square the second would be a plus y squared. And I'll leave it to you to multiply this by whatever method you would like to. Last problem, and then you're on your own for your assignment. First term squared would be 2x times 2x, 4x squared. Multiply and double, or twice the product. 2x times 5y is minus 10xy because of the negative. Double that, it's minus 20xy. And then square the second. Negative times negative is positive. 5 times 5 is 25. Y times y is y squared. And I'll leave it to you to demonstrate by whatever your favorite binomial multiplication is, that those are the same results as if you had done a traditional FOIL or box or distributive rule, whatever your favorite is. But I just have to emphasize to you so much. Our next lessons, and really the rest of the lessons for this unit, will depend on you being able to reverse the process of this squaring. And it will not be obvious how to reverse it unless you've practiced one or the other of these two little phrases. First term squared, twice the product, second term squared, or square the first, multiply and double, square the second. Goodbye.